What's up, guys? Happy Thursday, October 21st, 2021. We've got 3 games of NBA basketball on the FanDuel DraftKings Yahoo Prizepicks docket tonight. We also have Thursday night football, and if you ask me, a little bit of a reprieval overall in terms of work and research. Man, Boy, was yesterday a marathon. It started from the moment I rolled out of bed, putting together 11 game slate on the spreadsheet, 22 teams, trying to sweep through team by team, trying to get my minute projections as tight as possible. Then, of course, we had the 2 game baseball slate to prep for last night as well. I had a couple of streams that I had to deal with, one on this channel and then on the Awesome channel. So it was a non-stop day of grinding, and I'm not complaining, man. There's definitely worse ways to make a living, but hopefully you guys made out pretty well last night. 11 game slate, a lot of inefficient pricing, a lot of value, a lot of guys that put up big numbers, a couple of games going to extra innings, right? Overtime. The Celtics Knicks game lost its mind, and it was just one of those 11 game slates, right? It's going to be nice like that. So hopefully you guys made it out with more money than you entered with, but if not, hey, beautiful thing about NBA, there's usually always tomorrow, and tomorrow is today. And there's 3 games tonight, a couple of teams with some significant absences, and hopefully we can kind of go game by game here and come up with some names that kind of stand out. This video just intended to be an abbreviated, brief look at the slate. I will be live today at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, right here on this channel. It is an opportunity, since it's a small slate, to hang out a little bit more. So if you guys maybe didn't get as much of attention as I usually am able to afford you guys yesterday, I really had to run for time. Today, man, bring those process questions, those strategy questions, and we will talk through it. We'll hang out a little bit and try to enjoy the day. Like I said, football tonight, NBA tonight. So if you guys want access to what I'm doing for both sports, baseball as well, you guys can get all of my spreadsheets, my player pools, my projections, bomb detectors, all that good stuff by going to rundfs.com, getting yourself a premium membership. Man, there are people to connect with from all walks of life, all bankroll levels, and all styles of play. It's a beautiful community we've cultivated. One of my proudest accomplishments, man, over the last half decade is building that community. And then, of course, the most valuable asset, I think, of a membership is access to the 24/7 premium Discord and those pre-locked voice chats. So even more time to hang out a little bit more and talk some processes. If anything, the first couple of days of NBA is a great refresher to get the rust off and remind ourselves how to react to news, how to leverage the field on plays that overproject, underproject, and have big ownership numbers attached to them. We've seen that specifically in the last 2 nights play out beneficially to guys that get a little bit contrarian. So anyway, a lot of rambling there. I'm going to open up the rundfs.com NBA VIP spreadsheet. If you guys don't mind, all I ask for you is show me a little bit of love. Hit that thumbs up and double check to see if you're subscribed. If not, hit that subscribe button. Maybe turn that notification bell on if you want to be notified when we upload new content on this channel. I have a personal goal of 6,000 subscribers by January 1st. That's only 600 subscribers between now and then. I think we can do it. I think it's going to be a stretch, but I think we can do it, especially with the amount of NBA content to be pushed out on this channel between now in that time. So help me out, and hopefully I can help you guys out just a little bit as we look at today's slate. Starting in Atlanta, the Hawks hosting the Dallas Mavericks. We got a 225.5 total, a 2.5 point spread in favor of the home team, Atlanta Hawks. Okongwu listed as out, and then Lou Williams had a Q tag on him attached to a sore hip. If you remember Lou Will last year, it wasn't as impactful as a role player bench member for this Hawks team as he was in years prior for teams like the Clippers, teams like the Raptors, stuff like that. So I don't think it's going to be a massive absence, but if he is out, it could open up 10 to 15 minutes of extra usage and extra extra fantasy viability for a couple guys like maybe Kevin Huerter. Kevin Huerter, by the way, was tied with Patty Mills as the second odds-on favorite to be sixth man of the year. So maybe we'll see that play out. But matchup-wise, man, Luka versus Trae Young, that's always fun. The last 3 games for Luka against Trae Young, he's exceeded 50 fantasy points on DraftKings. And the last 2 times exceeded 60. Right now, I actually had him as my highest raw point projection player. Something that I might tweak as we go throughout the day. Whenever I see anyone outscore Giannis in my projections, I start scratching my head. But I do think this game has a chance for Luka to really thrive out there and be one of those games where he flirts with a triple-double. Another guy that kind of stands out price-wise here, 7K Kristaps Porzingis. If he's healthy and he can go, him and Luka are usually guys you can handcuff for a tandem of high usage, the bulk of the usage for this team. And last year, Porzingis averaged 20 points per game and almost 9 rebounds per game. And he can get some of those stocks for FanDuel's sakes, over 1 blocks per game. Last year, we've seen him be a block monster, kind of underrated block guy, right? Tim Hardaway Jr. revenge game in the mix here. If you guys wanted to take a shot on 30 minutes of him, I do think he could be in line for that. And then on the Hawks side, Bogdan Bogdanovic, 6K-ish on both sites. He's somebody that can be a point per minute if he gets a decent run. I got him just under 30 minutes for now. We might play with that as we get closer. Guys like Clint Capella always in play as potential double-double threats with some stock upside, and same with John Collins. So nothing staggering here. I do think I have some thoughts or questions about where the ownerships kind of fall here, right? Trae Young at 9.6 on FanDuel, 9.1, and then Luka Doncic. Do these names rise to the top over the Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Steph Currys, and the Paul George without Kawhis? I'm very curious to watch ownership projections throughout the day. Next up, we got the Milwaukee Bucks at the Miami Heat. Bucks playing their second game of the season. Miami Heat, opening night for them in their young season, the debut of Kyle Lowry. Drew Holiday listed as probable here. He went down the second quarter of opening night, did not return. We saw George Hill pick up in the second half for him. But Dante DiVincenzo, Rodney Hood, Semi Ojeleye, and Bobby Portis all continue to be listed with an out designation next to their name. So that's going to create another opportunity for Jordan Nwora, who thrived on opening night, and he's only 3,700 on DraftKings. I think immediately I got to expect that to be attached to some decent ownership, but Nwora has profiled as a really efficient fantasy point per minute guy, not only in opening night, we saw that in the preseason, and we saw that in Summer League as well. So expect some ownership attached to him. And also Grayson Allen, under 5K, under 4,500 on both sides, to be a little bit more specific. I do think he maybe benefited a little bit more second half because of the absence of Drew Holiday, but I'm fine with putting him in my player pool as a stocking stuffer. And then Drew Holiday, that DraftKings price is tempting. 6,500, probable, no limits. Hey, I only need the north side of 30, and this is one of those slates. The smaller the slate, the more subjective value becomes, and we can sacrifice some ceiling for some floor. And I might be subscribing to that approach with a guy like Drew Holiday, especially on DraftKings at that price point. On the Heat side, Kyle Lowry, he's going to start up there, 8,100, right? I usually want the north side of 40 at that price point. Jimmy Butler's really intriguing. I like his DK price a little bit more than his FanDuel price. Bam Adebayo, kind of iffy for me on both sides, but I do have him projecting at least decently over 40 fantasy points so far. So at 7,600 on DK, I like that sound of 40 plus. And then Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think what's really interesting about Giannis right now is my first run projections actually made Luka Doncic a better raw points play, which is very, very rare, right? Usually I get Giannis Antetokounmpo leading every slate that he's on just because he's a freak of nature. So we'll see if more tweaks throughout the day will allow that to normalize, that seesaw to come back a little bit. But when you look at this Heat team, bodies like Adebayo, PJ Tucker, Jimmy Butler, I could see them more than anyone being a little bit of a nuisance. But man, Giannis looks like a problem, and it looks like he arguably got better. One game sample size, 10.3K on DraftKings. He's still number 2 in my raw point projection, so I'm going to be an investor on that. 11.2 0.3K on FanDuel. Makes me wonder if I'm going to like the balance lineup a little bit more. Guys like the Paul George, like Steph Curry, and, it's kind of weird to put those guys under the term balance, but hey, they're a little bit cheaper than 11K on FanDuel. So I'll be wrestling with that. I'm definitely curious to see what you guys are thinking when it comes to Giannis here, and we'll talk more at length on the live stream later today. Next game on the docket, Clippers at the Warriors, your main event tonight, 226.5 total. Warriors favored by 3.5. Lots of pertinent information to keep in mind here. Kawhi Leonard not going to be playing perhaps at all this year. And then for this game, Serge Ibaka listed as out, and Nick Batum listed as out for personal reasons. And then the Warriors, another game without Klay Thompson, another game without James Wiseman like we saw on opening night. Clippers have moved on from Patrick Beverley, right? So the starting lineup's going to look like Reggie Jackson, Eric Bledsoe, Paul George, Marcus Morris, and Ivica Zubac. And then the biggest usage bump there, obviously, Paul George without Kawhi Leonard. We look at last year, almost 850 minutes of Paul George without Kawhi Leonard. He averaged 1.38 DraftKings points per minute, over 1.3 FanDuel points per minute, holding a 34.5% usage rate and 21% assist rate. That's really, really good. I put him at 35 minutes at as a minute projection right now, and it's spit back about 50 fantasy points on both sides, and it's a great starting point on a 3-game slate at under 10K. So Paul George probably is going to come in at elevated ownership, but man, I got no quarrels here, and I love putting him versus Steph Curry in the same lineup and just letting greatness happen. Also, going back to the Add More Funds website here, and if you guys aren't signed up for Add More Funds, check out a link in the description below. Get signed up over there. Use that on-off court tool, man. It is such a sharp weapon. But also, one of the great things on this website is the minutes rotation report, right? So one thing I want to point out, and I mentioned it yesterday in my live stream, Nemanja Bjelica is actually bigger than the Kevin Looney height-wise. So without James Wiseman, with Draymond Green still working on his conditioning, Bjelica is a guy that's making waves on that team. Has had some great rave reviews from his teammates, and on opening night, Steve Kerr opted to go with Bjelica over Kevin Looney to close that game out, right? Bjelica played almost the entire final quarter and the last couple of minutes of the third quarter, while Looney sat midway through the third. So I expect more of that shift of minutes balance for Bjelica, and maybe it doesn't happen till late, but he's a very, very talented on and off ball player, and I definitely think at 4,600 on DraftKings, I'm gonna run back to some Bjelica exposure on this slate, and I can live with 25 DKP, but knowing that 30 plus fantasy points is a range outcome, yeah, that's okay with me. Steph Curry 10K, like I said, I'm looking at 50 plus fantasy points as the Warriors go. So does Steph Curry. Not going to expect a triple-double every game like he did on opening night. However, in games where the Warriors are competitive, I probably do expect 30 plus real points and 8 plus assists. So I think that's a strong floor in a 3-game slate. My favorite lineup correlation right now is Curry versus Paul George in the same lineup, and there's plenty of value in this game, and it's pretty stackable, especially on the Clipper side. I think Reggie Jackson's FanDuel price at 5K I love. Marcus Morris without Nick Batum at 5,400 I like quite a bit. Paul George under 10K, I'm with that. You can even make a case for Ivica Zubac. I got him at 4,200. He's spitting back over 30 fantasy points. That's incredible points per dollar rate. So I like the Clippers a lot. They're probably going to be a team that become my highest stack team. And then the Warriors side, Jordan Poole getting on the north side of 5K. Still a guy that I think is good for 25 DKP, maybe push 30, but his price is probably catching up to him. So I'm curious to see how the field reacts to his price adjustment, because he was the highest owned player on opening night. I want to see if people retain that ownership. If so, I might be looking to get a little different in that spot. Anyway, those are the 3 games we're dealing with today. It's pretty simple, pretty short, pretty easy to process. A couple value guys sticking out. Hopefully we'll find a couple of diamonds in a rough, be a little bit different. But let me know what you guys are thinking. I will be back live on the channel 3 p.m. Eastern today, 2 p.m. Central. Hit that thumbs up, man. I hope you guys crush it. We got NFL tonight. We got basketball tonight. It's a beautiful day. I love you guys. Have a good day. Good luck. God bless. I go win some money.